CJ3 Foundation, and I'm the director and founder, Eric Thomas. Give me your undivided patriotic attention as we're about to impart on you another story of service and sacrifice representing our mission, serving our nation's wounded heroes. We are operating in the land of the free because of the brave. Let's uphold our oath, leave no warrior left behind, and support our thin green, blue, and red lines. Why? Because this will defend. Uncle Sam and CJ3 want you. This is the CJ3 Foundation. I was sitting in my garage smoking a cigar after a long day. As I was scrolling through social media, I saw Joseph Vincent pop up online. I poked the bear and prodded Joe to participate in an impromptu online discussion. For background, I met Joe in 2017 in Texas as we both volunteered to deploy to support the Hurricane Harvey recovery effort. Joe was lucky enough to end up on my team. Seriously, though, we had a good time and did a lot of good work down there. Enjoy our impromptu reunion discussion.
You're calling me out, huh?
A little bit, Joe. How you doing, bro?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain. You learn how to drive yet?
Nope. Nope. I'm from the land of not being able to drive.
How are things, bro?
Pretty
You straight?
Pretty good. Congratulations on your non-for-profit.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
As you may or may not have seen, it has me busier than all hell.
Yeah, I've been catching your exploits. You seem to be running around the country.
I'm having a good time. Hey, you know what? When I don't have those FEMA things to go on, and I don't have all that stuff, this is the thing that makes me happy, right? One's a paycheck, the other's what makes me happy.
No, that's great. So, to fill my time between work and other things, I started an embroidery business.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, when you gonna help us out?
I was actually going to message you guys. Be like, hey.
I would hate for you to have a business, and
I mean, before we were able to use each other for services, I mean, at the end of the day, we knew each other. So, that'd be kind of cool. Good story. Link up and supporting FEMA and then helping each other out. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I was going to message you. And then I saw you pop on live. I was, you know what? Let me see what's going on.
What's your forte, dude? I mean, what are you doing?
As far as the embroidery?
Yeah.
Anything from, your basic, left chest polo shirts to, the beanies to ball caps. I've been doing a lot of uniform stuff lately.
Well, let me ask you this: what got you started? Seriously, because that's something out of the norm, right? Something a little bit different.
What got me started was the government shutdown a few years back. Made me realize how vulnerable I was financially to the whims of politicians and the football and some of the stuff that we went through when we were doing the stuff for FEMA. We were kind of stuck in the middle. Is I don't like that feeling of not being self-sufficient and having another form of business or some form of income other than the day job. And it's something that's always kind of interested me. I'm thankful to my brother. My brother is in the silk screening business, and he kind of has been coaching me through it. So it's worked out well. I've been doing it. I've been operational since November.
Let me ask you this: how much equipment do you have to get and buy that stuff? Because I know nothing about that world. So tell me, man.
So right now I am running what is a single head machine. So it's modest.
Yeah.
But the machines are fairly expensive. All told, to get some of the different supplies and the machine itself, think a base model Honda in as far as the price range, and that's about what it is.
I could see you in a Honda. I mean, that makes sense to me.
So, hey, after deployment, I wound up getting a commercial van too.
Really?
Yeah.
Look, man. Hey, that means next time you sure as hell better know how to get me to a breakfast better than you did. Hey, for those that for whatever reason want to listen to this, and I don't know why you would, but at the end of the day, Joe was a driver for a while during our deployment to FEMA. I didn't fire him, just for the record. I think other people did, but that's okay. Because
I drove the longest out of the team consistently.
Well, by that logic, there's some folks that say I didn't do shit during that deployment and just rode around with you. So whatever.
I think the productivity numbers would say different.
I mean, I'm just saying we had a good group of just a bunch of bastard children that had fun. We believed in what we were doing, and we got along and had a good time.
Definitely a memorable bunch, and definitely a more than memorable stint out there.
I had a good time. It was me. It was a good break. I needed it. The funny thing is, we went down there to work harder than we do in our regular job, but I still considered it a break. It got me away from the daily politics and daily BS. So, I see somebody sneaking behind you. Who is that?
That's the missus.
That's all right.
So,
hey, that's all right. I had your husband for like 3 months, man. How about that?
Yeah, you're getting the whole family tour back there.
Hey, nothing wrong.
But yeah, no, I still when we do new hire classes for folks for our new guys coming in, I usually get a chance to speak with them, and I always reference the FEMA deployments as being some of the most stressful and grueling and just hard on your body experience I've had to deal with my time in the federal government, and also counting it as some of the most rewarding time spent because of the folks that I was able to have contact with and help, and you're seeing folks in a vulnerable situation who are on their last nerve. They're desperate, and they're just dealing with things that they never thought they would be in the situation they're in.
Hey Joe, you remember? So first of all, truthfully, half of what was we went down to, right, and that folks, it was amazing watching them. Didn't matter, black, white, poor, rich, didn't matter. Neighbors helping out neighbors. It was, given what we're going through right now politically, it was.
Oh yeah, and then a big shout to the Texas Heart, because those are folks who are self-reliant, who just by nature and local culture. So to have to be in a situation where they need help is hang on.
I don't know. But the funny thing is, I don't know. I mean, what I experienced is a majority of them were not when we send some to get help. Was pretty neat in it, I think.
I think definitely, yeah.
So the other thing is, we rolled up on one house that had multiple Lamborghinis and Ferraris and whatever else. That we got a couple cool photos. I felt bad for the dude, even though I can't afford any of the cars that dude had in his driveway. But dude, in his driveway were drowned cars worth more than my house and everything I own combined.
Exactly. We pull up to that, and I'm going, this guy's lost more than my entire balance sheet of assets.
Yeah, and probably more than I'm gonna make in the federal government too.
Exactly.
Hey, and then we had the drug deal neighborhood.
That was all.
Come on, man.
Wild on the other end of the spectrum.
Rolling up to those guys and going, "Hey, you guys need Jesus."
So what is it? And then we had the catnip guy or whatever, not the catnip, but he had all the boxes of what do you call
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
the older like bikers. He had the tattoo shop, and he had the kid on the bike who lost his phone, and they had all the boxes of cat litter.
Oh yeah.
And I remember you saying, "Hey, just do a quick search, open source, see what they use cat litter for."
Yeah, something ain't right in this place.
Yeah, there's some cats here, but this guy, had like I don't know, like two like industrial sized garbage cans full of catnip, and it's like, I use it for something.
I will tell you what, man, that city took care of us, man. I mean, I will tell you, for whatever reason, if any of our federal entities watch any of this, it's volunteer for this stuff because, man, we got would we get a Zach Brown concert that they provided. We went to a football game to watch well, J.J. Watt stays injured, so to watch the team anyway. And we were up there during the whole playoffs of the baseball team, which was phenomenal. So that town really did a good job, and it was pretty nice having a night or two over there at the resort, playing in the water park. I mean, we were roughing it.
Yeah, with that's the other thing. The accommodations swung wildly, and with no rhyme or reason. So one day we were fortunate. You're getting government rate on a really nice place, and then
the night that place was doing a soft open, so they weren't even open yet for real. So you had to deal with some of the inconveniences of they weren't sure of their processes, but it gave them an opportunity to get money.
Yeah.
And it put us in a 5-star hotel, which was nice.
Yeah, and most of that staff was really great. But then there was like the literal Roach Motel by the airport with the women of the night strolling past.
Yeah. Hey, but my favorite was still living in Walmart. There's Walmart people, then there's the people that got to live at Walmart. We lived at Walmart.
And then Walmart was definitely the high point.
Hey, I've heard people complain about that, and I'm like, you don't know what you missed. That was a good time. I don't know what you're complaining about. We had a good time.
So what is it? The embrace the suck. You knew it's.
Yep.
That's what made it fun. And you go full spectrum because it just gets so bad. You're like, this is comically bad. This this is
but it was
handicap shower, in the bright early freezing mornings, and they forget the hot water, and you're going, I'm bathing in cold water, and I'm like, but at least it wasn't like when we first got there where we didn't bathe for like a week.
Yeah, I appreciate that because that makes for long rides in a van.
Yes, yeah,
and they quickly realized we weren't built for being on the telephone in Dallas. Between throwing footballs and playing jokes on each other and all that, we were probably not built for the telephones.
No. They were happy to see us come and happy to see us go.
Yeah, I'm used to that in my life, bro. How is the family, man?
Family good.
Everybody good?
Locally, they're back in school 5 days a week, but they're still half days. So that's been a huge thing to getting a semblance of normal and into routine for the kids.
Hey, what's your schedule been like with all that, man? Are you going in every day? Or are you half and half? Or
So I flip back and forth between telework and being on site. So that's been locally our folks have been really great with having allowing us to do some some telework and making some exceptions to have that be a thing, which has helped with the kids tremendously.
Yeah.
So how about you? You teleworking and going in still, or?
Yeah, so I came back from FEMA and decided I needed a break, man. My old job, being a deputy director of my position, was it was taxing, man. I was one of those where I was going in at 6, 7 o'clock, getting home at 8, 9, 10 o'clock every day. And then on top of the deployment, and I stayed an extra 30 days out there, which, I can't believe you left me. That's just sad. Yeah, you left your leader, man. I didn't think that was a thing.
Yeah.
But
the boss back home said, "Come home."
I needed a break, and so I took a liaison gig, which, anytime you hear that term, it's not a bad thing. It means I can kind of throttle back a little bit. I miss leadership and all that stuff because that's not what my position is right now, but it's been good. And during COVID, I've been teleworking for almost a year. I've only been in a few times, and so it's been good because I've been able to do my job and do the charity and do everything. So I've been blessed. I can't lie. It was a struggle in the beginning because I'm a social person, as we both know, and not being able to be around people was tough. Worst thing you can do to kind of folks is isolate us and say you can't go in. But now I'm at the point where I think it might hurt a little bit when I got to go back in. I'm gonna be like, what?
Because when things really got to a bad point here, I did probably close to 45 days, like exclusively telework. And by the time I had to go back and put a suit back on and go into the office, I was like, one, this is kind of snug, because let's face it, I went from, walking 5-6 miles a day to, being desk bound. And then, so getting back into the groove, just to go into the office to see folks, because we were locked down really hard for part of that.
Yeah.
So I was going into the office. It was, partly for the socialization, for my own, mental health to kind of feel normal. And we would see folks and talk and it'd be like, we were talking for like 10 feet away from each other. That helped to keep things kind of on an even keel and kind of feel like you have a routine. But, I telework is good. There's a...
Well, I would tell you from a leadership perspective, my friend, it's actually been good. And the reason I say that is, let's face it, we got a bunch of old heads that don't know how to lead in this environment. And it's forced us to make some change and look at, things that, hate to use them as an example, but Google and Amazon and some of these private sector folks have already figured out. And it's forced us to have to make some changes. And I don't necessarily know if there's going to be a back to normal, right? It'll be it should be a new normal.
There's at the long-term ramifications. There are a lot of folks who are responsible for real estate budgets going, hey, you know what? We could save a pretty penny going to jump cubes and having a lot of these folks off site. It's not cheap to have office space.
No, because what a lot of people think, we just own it all, but no, we lease it when we're in there. We pay for each one of those spots and each one of those. So yeah, it ain't cheap. So I think it's actually been good.
So I know that through the grapevine, through different folks, I've been hearing that the senior leadership is looking into that, kind of going, what can we learn from this? The other thing is productivity wise. I mean, it's probably not the healthiest thing, but you get locked into something, and normally you'd be like, oh, well, I gotta get up and I gotta get on the road, or I'm gonna sit in traffic for 2 hours. Well, now,
Yep.
hey, you know what? I'm in the right headspace, and I'm hitting the sweet spot, and I'm getting everything done. What's another 40 minutes? Because it's gonna save you that much more tomorrow.
Yep.
So you wind up putting in longer days sometimes.
No, I think that's true. Because I'm almost of the opinion that, I consider commute time and everything, and I jump down on the computer first thing in the morning, and so I can guarantee you, truth be told, they're getting more hours out of me than they would have if I was in and doing everything else. And so I think it's a good thing, man. I don't think we need to go back to whatever that norm, what the old normal was. I think we got a new normal coming.
Yeah, I think that there are folks who are starkly against this, like you were saying, and just didn't see it for the value, and just thought it was a means of folks, although they're just going to sit home and, they'll do some training classes. What can they really get done from offsite? And
yeah. So
now they're going, hey, you know what? This isn't so bad, and I'm getting a lot of stuff done.
So it looks like I'm going to deploy again with them for the vaccine stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So they wanted me to deploy last week, and I couldn't get things together. They didn't give me enough time, and just had too many things to put together before I went. And so they just came out with a whole nother deployment list to help with the vaccine stuff. And so, I put in for a couple of those positions. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll find out here soon whether I'm going to roll out. I just enjoyed it, man. At the end of the day, it's a pretty neat organization. It's got a lot of different aspects and a lot of neat things. And so I figured, you know what? I had a good time last time for the flood stuff. Let's go help with the vaccines, man. It'd be a good time.
Yeah. So, wow.
It's too bad I don't have a driver. Hey, you gotta admit, I lost weight out there, but I ate good the whole time.
Yeah. I started to lean towards the end of it, started to lean out, but we had access to stuff.
And we all know my friends hooked me up with cigars, so I never went without a cigar while I was there, which was pretty awesome.
You know that there was abundance when even I got in on the cigars.
Hey, I shared, right? I mean, that's what they were there for. It was so we could calm down and relax a little and enjoy. I mean, you got to have that time, right? It's part of the work life. So.
Yeah, we seem even after the 14 or 16-hour day, there was always that decompression time where the group still managed to get back together and spend a little time.
Well, that was because I couldn't keep up with Desi. I mean, I'm just saying, bro. That boy would kill me.
Yeah, our group definitely could hold their own in that category.
Well, I have had the opportunity to run into a couple of them. I posted a picture.
Saw that.
What did I call him back in the day? DJ Khaled. Yeah, I've run into Noah a couple times. And Desmond out of Milwaukee, run into him a few times because I go to Milwaukee a lot because about an hour from Milwaukee is where our dogs get trained and stuff like that. So I run into him. As a matter of fact, last time I went through his airport, I accidentally had a 45 round in my bag, and yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I called my buddy, sheriff's office. Whatever, they were nice. Realistically, your gal, I think that was working that place, just wanted a coin, so I gave her a coin, and she was like, she kept saying, "I know you're from headquarters, and you're here to make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing." I said, "Really, I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I just screwed up." I didn't do a good job in keeping my range bag separate of my regular bag, and a stray round was in there.
It's kind of how often I think that might happen.
Well, I mean, they handled it well. They had to go through the formalities. I'm not mad at them because I arrive early enough anyway because I like to get there early, have a cup of coffee, relax. And I got the dog with me anyway. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, we were all having a good time, and they were petting the dog and whatever, and we had a good time. So it didn't matter to me. No reason to get uptight about it. I'm the one that screwed up. So, yeah, whatever.
How was it traveling with the dog?
What's that?
How is it traveling with the dog?
Good, man. I hear some people have problems. I've never had a problem. Things get a little more stringent because people are taking advantage of the emotional support animals and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, things needed to get a little more stringent. People were taking advantage. So, I got to fill out a DOT form before I go and all that. But, dude, nobody's giving me a problem. And this dog, he's so good that everybody, there's no mistaking that he's a service dog by how well behaved, what he does. And I mean, I go through the screening booth, and then when they tell me they're ready for him, he sits there, and then he comes through, and they pat him down because he's got his vest with some metal on it. And every once in a while, I run into somebody that's afraid of dogs, don't want to pat him down. I'm like, he'll be all right, you're good. So, but other than that, man, I've had no issues. He travels well, and people treat him well.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Yeah, the thing with the service animals, I mean, a few years back, I mean, there was a woman who tried to come through. She had a service peacock.
There's no such thing, man. There's only two. There's only two.
She didn't fly with the peacock, and her did not fly. Nobody got that.
You're just an asshole.
Kind of like you just really just pushing the envelope there. Nobody's buying this.
Yeah. What is this thing helping you with, really? As a matter of fact, nobody wants to sit with you now. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, nobody wants to sit next to you. No, the sad part is I think that the bird was stressed out, because she's marching up and down the terminal with this poor bird on the top of a luggage cart. And I think at one point the bird looked like he wanted to peck her eyes out and run.
Well, hey, let me ask you this. Let me flip the script though, because for my folks, this is actually important, because I get a lot of new wounded heroes that I award service dogs to. Truthfully, what's your take on that whole thing, and your problem or your issues, or what works, what doesn't work? Kind of what's your thing on them, man? What kind? What's your take?
I think you hit it on the head as far as it's always a good idea to leave yourself some extra time, and because it takes time in any circumstance. It takes time to get through the process, especially when you're you have mobility issues of your own that you may be working through, or if you have prosthesis that you're working through. And then if you have a service animal with you, it takes time to screen the service animal as well. So yeah, definitely give yourself that extra breather. There is a number and a website or a link onto the main agency website for folks who need assistance and stuff like that. And we could take that offline, and I can give you that info if you want to, because that's more or less open source.
So we put that stuff out to our folks. So truthfully, I mean, realistically, what I tell them, go schedule your flight. Afterwards, call the what do they call it? The handicap or accessibility, whatever. The same line that you'd call if you need a wheelchair, if you need whatever for help. And literally, we tell them, hey, got a service dog. Here's what breed. Here's the weight. They're going to ask you, is it for emotional support or is it a mobility issue? And you let them know. You go through the process. You fill out the DOT form, which is a relatively new requirement, but that's fine because once you fill it out, it's
the airline, though, right?
I mean, it is. I've never had TSA ask me for it, but yeah, it is pretty much. But even they don't care. They haven't asked me for it yet, but I have it. And I've had no issues. Once you do that stuff, man, the airline, stewardess, everybody's been phenomenal. I've had no issues, man. Most of the time, the only issue I have is folks love dogs, and so I got to have a little extra time because I like to hang out with some of our folks because, let's face it, we all work for the same agency, and so I like to sit there and let them pet on them and love on them and have a good time, and we chat, and they got questions, and we just sit there and chat. So I have no issues with that. Half of what I do is education anyway, so I haven't had issues, and I don't think any of my folks have had issues either. So it's all good, bro.
I mean, and I think for a lot of it is it's now very commonplace. I think in probably the last 5 years, it's definitely more commonplace now. I think more folks are used to it. It's widely, it's pretty far and wide that folks know about, service animals.
Yep. So, hey, think about that, dude. So now when I deploy for that organization, I'm deploying with a service dog, which will be a whole interesting topic as well. So
yeah, I definitely. I want to see how that gets handled and how the accommodations are for that, as far as in the deployment.
I mean, at the end of the day, they can't discriminate against it.
No.
And the only time they can say anything about it is if it actually affects health or something like that, right? I can't be a cook and have my dog in the kitchen. Yeah. That just doesn't, right? The kind of positions I applied to go with them, I mean, they're like chief of staff jobs and things like that. So non-issue jobs, right? I'm not going to be a guy in a quarantine area or cantonment area where I got to be all masked up and then there's my dog.
Yeah, you're not bunking in the berth of a ship at that point.
No, but I would do Walmart with my dog. He's a Walmart kind of dog.
You get away with Walmart.
Hey, he would have went to Chick-fil-A with us for breakfast, bro, and wouldn't have thought none of it.
The dog would have a cholesterol problem.
Well, we did too.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, one thing you can count on, we may work hard, but we're gonna eat well while we're doing it. We ate real well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Houston fed us well. I'm not complaining at all about that.
Look, there was a lot of great places. Only a handful of spots that were questionable. The OK barbecue place. How's your barbecue?
Or
okay.
Or the plantain place that I refuse to go to. Like I'm not eating that crap.
I don't even remember that. I remember getting plantains. Yeah. I don't remember that you weren't there for that.
Yeah, I didn't go there. Where else? I dropped y'all off and went across the street.
You went to like a Jack in the Box or something, I think, right?
I don't know. Who knows? I just wasn't doing it. It ain't happening. Oh, I don't know, man. But no, I had a blast with y'all, man. It was a good time. So let's get back to it, dude, because truthfully, I got folks that are always looking. Your new bro. How serious are you? How far along are you? Tell me a little bit more about it, man.
So, very serious about it. Right now, I'm running about a week and a half to 2 weeks out in production. So I have a production schedule out that far, and that's been pretty consistent since I started up. One of the huge benefits is because I became the sole vendor, or basically the sole subcontractor for my brother's print shop. So I'm getting his subcontracted work that he was sending out for. He's now sending that to me. So
that's a good problem.
Oh yeah, it is definitely a good problem to have. and you know, you've been around me. If there's extra hours that need to be put in, they get put in. So I haven't missed a production deadline yet, and I don't tend to.
Well, let me ask you this, man. So you're embroidering and stuff. So where are you getting your stuff? Do they like when somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want hats, I want polos," are they bringing them to you, or you got a supplier, or what do you?
It depends. So we have suppliers that we have, you know, vendor contracts with. But there are some instances where folks will bring in their own garments for, you know, for embroidery or for print. It really depends on the client. There are some large volume clients that'll bring in their own garment.
Yeah.
Where they'll say, you know, look, and these are long-term jobs where, you know, you're talking 30,000 pieces, and the month, you know, it takes months to process that job. We have a fewer smaller clients that, you know, it's a few hundred pieces, and they'll bring their own, but the majority of folks usually work through the vendors. Yes.
So for you, man, is the machine hooked up to your computer to accept logos that way? I mean, how does that work for you? Because, dude, like I said, I'm ignorant.
So right now, the way I'm running that machine, I'm running it with basically taking in the logos, having them digitized, either in-house or sending them out to a specialty shop, depending on the complexity of the logo. Or some of the clients have their artwork already digitized, and will just send the files to me, and I just load them up on the machine. You know, pull them off pull the file off like you would onto a thumb drive, like you would any other file, and you know, load it into the machine via thumb drive, and then run my tests and make sure that everything sews right, adjust where according.
We may have to try you out, bro.
Definitely.
I mean, in typical charity fashion, we put our crap on everything. It's because half of it's about branding. I mean, plus, you know, I like swag anyway. So at the end of the day, it's it's important for us. You know, I mean, we're doing all kinds of stupid crap. You know, we got polos, we got hats, we've got. I need to get. It sounds stupid, but when you think about it, so we have a whole mental health and wellness piece. One of the things we just got or getting ready to get installed is an infrared sauna, which does a lot of beneficial things for disabled veterans. And so you know, I'm getting some high-end spa robes that I need to get our logos, but which probably might be one of the first things I send your way just to try it out. But why? I don't know. Do I need my logo on it? Nope, but I can't help myself. It also keeps from walking away.
Yeah. You know, and look, people put logos on things for brand awareness. You know, people see things, and we're a Google society now. So you see something, oh, that's cool, and you wind up Googling it. And if you're like me, you're down in the rabbit hole. You know, 18 pages in.
So what do you like to do? Like, what do you like to embroider the most? Like, what's your thing? I mean, is it polo shirts? Is it what's your thing?
Polo shirts are you know, as long as the digitizing is good, polo shirts are nice to work with. Ball caps are good to work with.
Really? I would think a ball cap kind of a bitch just by the shape of them.
So there's a special fixture that goes on the machine that holds the ball cap in the correct orientation. And as long as I like things with center lines, because it's easy to mock them up and make sure that you're consistent across everything. So those are the easier things.
So my question to you is, dude, you got a, is it a side hustle or you got a actual business going now? What are you doing?
You broke up. I didn't hear that.
Is it a side hustle for you, or is it an actual business now?
So I'm still doing the formation stuff and finishing that.
Yeah. But,
So
yeah,
setting the
nothing wrong with
website and putting together my my LLC. So I mean, right now I'm operating. This year I'll file as a a sole proprietor and do it in
that.
my own name, and then through
Yeah.
the end of this year I'm either gonna do the official formation of an LLC in the next few months. If not, it'll be early next year. So
I know in Virginia it wasn't too bad. You know, building a business and all that. How bad's it where you're at? Getting incorporated.
so there's certain things that have been tough. It's definitely it's easier under an LLC as opposed to like doing like an S corp
Yeah.
in Jersey. There's different the way you have to approach your books on an LLC is a little easier.
Yeah.
If you have to do like if you were doing like an S corp in Jersey, it's a lot more.
So which one are you going for then?
I'm gonna do an LLC, and
Yeah.
I mean, S corp is better if you're dealing with something that's going to have a lot of liability associated. If you're saying you're getting into like cosmetics manufacturing or stuff where folks could potentially have a reaction to something that you're using. Where in the garment industry, everything is is coming from reputable vendors, and they're already streamlined, they're already hyperallergenic, they're already all that guesswork about if it's going to have a reaction with your skin and stuff has already been taken care of by the manufacturers or by the company that makes the thread or or whatever you're using in the garment itself.
Look at you, man. You growing up fast. It makes the old man's heart proud.
I don't think we're that far off though.
I think so. I just aged a little rougher than the rest of us, man.
No, I definitely. So my mom had cataracts, and she's been putting it off for like a year, and she was getting bad. So she finally gets eye surgery, and she finally, with COVID and everything, I finally got around her, and she gets a good look at me, and she goes, "Wow, you got gray." I'm like, "Thank you."
Love you too. It happens to the best of us.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I was graying at 20-some years old, so it don't matter. I think the Army aged me like dog years. For every regular year, I did 7. I'm just
and that definitely has a plays a role.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I just had a good night finishing off with a couple drinks, and I figure I'm having a cigar. And truthfully, I've never done one of these stupid Facebook Live things, and needed to try this thing out. And guess what? Guess who I saw?
Well, I saw it popped up. So truth is, I saw something coming on my work email. I was like, I'm gonna I'll pop on the computer. I'll just handle this real quick. And you know what time it is. So well after office hours. But I'm like, let me pop in and take care of this thing. And then I looked down and I saw your thing pop up, and I was like, so look who else is a little restless. Let's see what's going on over here.
Nah, man. Some of it, truthfully, I got to kick my own ass. One of the things I will say COVID did was I was already a very reclusive person anyway. I kind of stick to a core group of people and whatever, and I got to do a better job about staying in touch and reaching out and whatever. And so I was like, screw it. Let's get on this thing, see what happens. And I saw your name pull up. And I was like, oh, he ain't going to tell me no.
Well, I looked at that button for a solid minute, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but what the hell?
Hey, like everything else with me, a shit show, but it'll be all right.
You'll have fun the entire time.
That's all good. But look, now we got a connection, man. I'll be able to reach out to you and use you for some stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely looking forward to it. And if anybody watches this later, I would tell them Joe's a good dude. Reach out to him if you need something. If you need his information, reach out to me, because I'd be glad to pass your information around. Because if we're not taking care of each other at our levels, man, we're wrong anyway.
It's true.
So, so what's in the plans for you, bro? You sitting where you're at? You got big promotion plans? What are you doing, man? Are you gonna retire?
When something piques my interest, I throw my name in the hat. So sometimes they call me, sometimes they don't.
I know that game.
So, I'm in a good spot now.
That's good to hear, really.
So yeah, and I'm thankful I got into a situation where, I have my office. I can work out of it. I have a good group of folks around me as far as a team. So I took on some additional responsibilities in the last year.
It's good to see you taking on responsibilities. You need it.
The COVID has given me a lot more responsibilities.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of extra paperwork these days when it comes to this. So that can,
what do you? Hey, realistically, what are y'all at? Are y'all? When you're talking about numbers and stuff like that, are y'all at half speed right now with the amount of people flying and stuff these days, or is it really picking?
It's picking up. So we were the East Coast, and especially around the tri-state area, we were the first folks to kind of go down and be hit really hard, and see everybody get locked down, and so, which also meant that we were kind of the first folks to kind of get back up and running, and we're hitting some pre-COVID numbers with some of the stuff that we're dealing with these days. So we are starting to see things rebound as more folks get vaccinated, and as more businesses are able to open up and restrictions loosen. So folks are eager. They're fatigued from this. They want to get out. They want to go on vacation. They miss Disney. They miss their families that aren't in the state, and they want to get out there.
Did you get your vaccine, man?
I did not yet. I'm in the queue.
Yeah, myself too. I haven't got it either. I can't really say I'm in a hurry either, though.
And that's kind of the vibe I have. And part of me is I'm not really rushing out for it, because in my mind, I'm able to kind of manage my risk much more than my frontline guys. Like if there was a choice and it's like, hey, you're up, and then there's some of my folks who are have some high risk things about them that could benefit from it, I would kick them in line in front of me, because I'm not having to pat anybody down. I'm not getting close to folks like that. I'm in the office. Yeah, I go out into the operation, but I see the passengers from 10 feet away.
I get you. That's kind of the way I feel.
Talk a little louder.
I'm on staff, and truthfully, I can maintain distance, and I can maintain whatever I need to do. Why be in a hurry? I'll get it when it comes up, but there's folks that need it worse than we do right now.
I kind of hope for a day where essentially a FEMA trailer pulls up to the side of the airport, and we have, with so many doses, and we get to send our folks down and get their first or second shot or whatever. But I don't know if that's the reality of it. But that's what I think would be cool and effective.
Yeah, well,
my own two.
Or have the Johnson & Johnson single shot one, so you don't have to go for a second one.
And that is tempting. Nobody likes to be in first line. Nobody likes to be the first one in line for new things like this. And so many of my friends have been like, everybody else has 2 shots. You special, you got 1 shot. At the corners, and it's not a rational way of thinking, but in the back of your mind, you're going, he's got a point.
I'm not gonna lie, I come from the military where everything we got was not necessarily approved. Yeah. And so how much do I trust this? Whatever. Yeah. I guess it's not gonna hurt.
and everybody in the everybody's the hairs on the back of everybody's neck is like emergency authorization.
Yeah. It's like, wait, that means it was rushed.
Maybe not rushed, maybe done with a little bit of deliberation. We're fast.
That's pretty optimistic, sir. I appreciate the political correctness. Hey, what's up, Chad? Nah, dude, it's good to talk to you. It's good to catch back up. Like I said, I gotta do better about it. And like I said, I found out something cool about you that hopefully we'll be able to do a little bit of work together, man. I'm looking forward to it.
No, I'm definitely interested.
Hey, and I will tell you this though. So I don't have a big presence out where you're at, and I know you got veterans working for you, and I know you got, we don't only help veterans out, we help all wounded heroes, whether they're firefighters wounded on the job, or emergency responders, or law enforcement, or any of that. So I truly hope you know who I am and what I'm about, that you'd help and be a spotter and assessor for folks that might need help as well. Truthfully, just to be 100% honest, not that I need more people on my list. I need more money, because charity's only as good as the money coming in. A lot like your business, yeah. Right? It's
yeah,
right. But at the end of the day, it's nice to I like having a list, because I know it gives me something to work towards, and I'm a lot like you in that I'm not going to go to sleep. I'm not going to quit until that list down to 0, and then I'm just going to turn around and find more people to add to it, because that's what we do.
Yeah, you're always doing what you're doing, but you're always got an eye towards what's going to be the next thing. Who else is going to need something.
So go ahead and tell on me, bro. When you saw I had a service dog, what do you think? You were like, what in the hell?
I was like, oh, thank God. Someone's going to put up with him.
That dude was friggin' nuts.
I was like, that poor dog.
Barking orders at that dog. He's just... oh, man.
So,
look,
yeah. I think for a lot of the folks who know you and may be in a situation where they need that extra help and wouldn't necessarily get it, folks might look at you and go, well, you know what? He knuckled down and said, you know what? I need this for myself. I need to do this for myself. And being that example to other folks, to be like, yeah, it's humbling to have to step out and know that you have to address things with yourself, and you need that support, whatever it is, and having that as an avenue, it helps to normalize it, and it helps to make it accessible to more folks, and that's a huge thing.
No, you're right, man. You know, not to sound like a martyr, not to sound like a whatever, make it out to more, but you know, there is some piece to that in that, you know, given my position in our organization, um, I do have younger employees looking, and when they see, oh, Mr. Thomas, oh, if he's willing to admit he's got his set of demons and he's willing to admit and he still has a job and still able to perform and still able to work, but take care of himself in the process. It's been nice because, you know the deal. I love to talk to people. And so I have veterans come up to me all the time, asking me questions and, you know, I've kind of become an unofficial ambassador for service dogs and veteran things. Right. And truthfully, that's the part I love anyway. And so I'm fine. I'm more than happy to take that role on. So it's been kind of cool.
And honestly, with all the things that, you know, mental health wise, folks need more ambassadors. They need more normalization, because there's too many folks out there who still see the stigma in that and won't come forward, or they're worried about their job. Oh, crap.
Yep.
If I say the wrong thing, they're you know, my ass is on the line, and I may be without a job.
Yep.
And
no, you're right.
the more folks that come forward and kind of speak up and say, hey, look, you can, you know, you can have stuff going on, and that doesn't matter. You know, the thing of value is you and what you bring to the table. Just because you've got these other things going on, demons or whatever, you know, you shouldn't be ashamed to address them or keep it quiet and stifle it, because it comes out in other ways. It always does.
Oh yeah, in healthy ways either.
Yeah, and it's never the good ways.
Yep. No, but I will be 100% honest with you, man. When I was prescribed them, I just truthfully, what went through my mind, honestly, was like, cool. I like dogs. That'd be awesome. I had no clue, honestly, what this dog would do for me. And now anybody that's seen me with this dog can't imagine me without him. You know, and a lot of people think that they're afraid that the dog will take their independence away and stuff like that. But truthfully, it probably gives me more independence because, you know, I can honestly tell you, you know, funny we talk about Walmart and places like that, but truthfully, you wouldn't catch me in a Walmart or in anything crowded like that because I couldn't function in that environment. It just wasn't comfortable. It wasn't fun. Or if I did, you know, my wife, she got about 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, and I start getting antsy and we're done. And so she got to do speed shopping. Well, now that I got my dog, me and him hang out, and I can sit, not that I want to sit in one of those places for very long, but I'm good for an hour or two and no issue.
But
and him are just
still not your choice, but you can.
But it's my decision at that point.
Yeah.
That's just because I don't like anywhere for that long. Especially that's what Amazon Prime's for. So I had to go to those places.
Yeah, online shopping is definitely a plus for certain things. But yeah, I mean, just you know, there's a whole other part of that, which is, you know, you have a service animal, and there's an extra set of motivation, because now it's like, okay, you know, it's one thing to, you know, to pull yourself out of bed and be like, oh, you know, I got to get showered, I got to get, you know, get cleaned up and start, you know, start my day. And it's another thing to go, you know, the dog's going to come looking for me in a minute.
Yep. No, I mean, truth to that. The funny thing is, I joke to people, I'm if I'm the service human or he's the service dog, but it gives you a focus and it gives you something, a reason, right? Because you got somebody else depending on you.
Yeah.
And no, it works out, bro. It would have been real interesting had we had him down there in Houston.
Yeah, I wonder what that would look like. So that could have been wild.
You would have enjoyed it driving. Like, I'm gonna hang out with Havoc. You guys go ahead and do your thing.
I'll be here. Crank the AC.
I got to babysit. I would love to go out, but I got to babysit. Sorry.
It's hot. He needs water. Could you imagine? having that breed of dog in the sketchy part of town.
Oh, dude, I would. Hey, there'd be no fear because I'm telling you, this dog. You got married. This dog is trained for drug work, bite work, and for my disabilities. So let's just say we might have had a couple issues in some of those neighborhoods.
They're
It's like,
taking one look at the van of folks and been like, we're gonna get raided.
yep, they'd be like, oh, it's DHS showing up with their dog. Oh, we're getting raided. So, nah, man, it's good seeing you again, bro. I appreciate you. Like I said, I appreciate you humoring me and coming on this thing and chatting with me. Keep looking for me. I'm gonna keep watching what you're doing. Let me know once you get your business completely up and running, bro. I'll put the word out. I'll put you on my, for what it's worth, I'll put you on the website and let people know that you're doing it. That way. Hopefully we can help gen up some other outside business that maybe you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah.
Just
I'll get you my company info.
yeah, no, I appreciate it, bro. And I'm glad to see, because I think you like me with the charity, but you with your business, it's that little extra thing that kind of keeps you going and keeps you happy and fills your time, and we need that stuff, man. Can't seem to sit still.
Yeah, that's the truth.
What's your wife think about it, man? Because obviously it's taking more time.
There's definitely there's pros and cons. My wife's in the creative business, in marketing and graphic design and all that. So for her, it's another outlet of creativity.
That's cool.
So that's a plus. So she's been a huge help in getting just different IP for myself and making different designs and helping with some of the digitizing and stuff like that.
So what I don't get is, we didn't really touch on it. I'm real curious. So how did you go from just doing your job to that? Like, where did that even come from in your scope, man?
So it comes back to my brother. During the government shutdown, I was doing extra hours. I was moonlighting at his place. I'd do my day job, moonlight with him in the print shop, a couple hours a night. And
like any good boy, got a side hustle.
And so it was, it's time hanging out with my brother. It's a little extra cash. And I remember I was there one night and he was dealing with one of his embroidery vendors. And he got the I think it was like a box of visors or something. And he's going through the embroidery on them, and they don't look right. And he was like, this must have been like the second time he got something back, and it just didn't look good to him. And it's going like, you ran 24 hats. He goes, you on the second correctly. You could have stopped right there and picked up the phone and said, hey, take a picture and send it to me. And I would have told you to stop. You ran basically an entire job knowing it looked like crap.
Yeah.
And, I was looking for something to kind of get into. I had some interest a few years back into it. But it seemed like a lot of money to invest.
Yeah.
At the time. And it was just something I couldn't do back then. And then kind of reinvigorated and with a little more focus. This time around, it was kind of like, I'm financially in a position where I can do this thing. I can make this work. And I had a clear cut.
The excuses start fading away a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. It makes it really easy when you're going, I being in my brother's shop, I'm seeing how many embroidery jobs he's getting, and he's not even really like, at that point, he wasn't really selling them. It was kind of one of those things of, oh, they're here for T-shirts, or they're here for signage, or they're here for, stuff that he's doing his, in the print side, and like, oh well, can you do hats? So yeah, sure, I'll get your hats embroidered, or I'll get your polo shirts embroidered, and he would find a vendor and contract with them just to keep everything focused.
Yep, and to stay with one person and whatever, so that way he's the go-to guy.
Yeah, for some of his clients, it's they have to then go through the approval process for bringing on a different vendor. So if he's already an approved vendor, it's just, even if it's a couple dollars more, they'll pay it, because to go through that entire process of getting a vendor approved through your company can sometimes be taxing.
Yep. That's cool, man. No, that's so what's literally, I mean, so what do you got to get to? What does right look like for you to invest in the next level, bro? What does that look like? Because you're obviously in it, so I had to, because it's another level of investment, obviously.
So you're saying, like, as far as when you say the next level,
the next bigger machine, or the next bigger to do more, or do whatever.
I would say that probably a production schedule that looks like 4 weeks out. Once I start to get to that point, I think I already have plans to bring on another single head machine, just for that added flexibility.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I'm running into right now is with running the single head is when I get new artwork in and I want to test sew it to make sure it's good. I'll either have to run the existing job out and then set up the machine and start doing test sew outs and check everything out and work through that setup process. Or I'll have to, stop the job temporarily, just bring in the artwork, look at it, do the test sew out, and then flip the machine back and start running again. Which isn't, once your machine is pretty much dialed into a job and you set you save your settings in, it's easy to flip back to. The longer time is getting to the setup and getting everything dialed in so that you're laying down where you need to, right exactly where you want it, and everything looks right. To have that ability to keep running and then just take the other machine, take that offline and just do that and still be running that job, so I'm not losing as much time.
Yeah. Now you have to have a separate computer hooked up to each machine?
No, so the machines, they have software in the machine that runs everything. You don't need a laptop plugged into it.
Okay.
It has its own, a software to run the machine, and you just basically import files. I mean, it pretty much works like any other piece of industrial hardware, where they've got some proprietary software that does everything it's supposed to do.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's interesting. Now, man, when if I ever get a veteran up your way, I'm gonna have to swing by. I want to see it. I assume when you test your first test, when you get a brand, like I send you a graphic, I assume your test is on a swath or something like that.
Yeah, it's essentially like a couple pieces of felt layered up. So depending on what kind of thread I'm working with and so forth, will determine where I'm going to sew out to. But usually it's two pieces of backing, and I may or may not use a fabric over that to kind of simulate what the final look will be. So I mean, it depends on what I'm trying to check for. So
Gotcha.
There's a lot more diagnostics with the machine than I thought I would be doing in the beginning, because there are certain things you kind of know about and you do your research. And the one thing that I've come away with is there's a lot more, mechanic work, so to speak, where in between jobs I'm going in and I'm doing regular maintenance on the machine. I'm oiling and checking tension, and just making sure that everything is dialed in, and the machine wants to run at a certain and within a certain specifications, and thread tension, bobbin tension, which is like there's like a spool of lower thread that's the bottom of the machine that fits the stitch. Those all have a certain amount of tension that's required. So there's a timing for the thread cut. So there's a knife that comes out and cuts the thread at like lightning speed, and that's on a certain timing. And I had an issue with it going out of timing once, so that was a learning experience, and I'm glad I got that out of the way early on.
Yeah, that could be a cost.
Oh yeah,
issue.
yeah. That was one that was kind of a little bit nerve-wracking, because I was only into the machine probably about 3 weeks, and I was running a job, and the timing went out, and
you're like, already? If this is the way it's gonna work, oh my god.
I was thinking that I'm like, oh my god, I'm in over my head. But their phone techs are really great. I was on the phone with the company support until like 7, 8 o'clock at night, for a good 3 hours troubleshooting the machine. Partly because at that time I didn't know what I didn't know, so he was giving me a little bit of an education on certain things, and then the other part of it was trying to figure out there's like, it's just like a car, like there are literally 6, 7, 8 dozen different things that could cause that same problem, and now you figure out where the origin is.
Which I say is kind of humorous, because I don't think I saw you with the hood up once on our van. Just saying. It was, go ahead, say it. It was a rental.
It definitely was a rental. Hey, look, knock on wood, that thing never ran hot.
No, it did well. We ran hot, but it didn't.
The two, I think we ran 2 different vans at one point, and both those vans were very reliable.
Yeah, no, they did a good job. Even when we went through Trailer Park IED Alley.
Oh,
you remember the when we Brent thought we were going into a choke point over there.
Yeah.
It's an ambush. I was like, no, it's not an ambush. Those are just bush lights.
Yeah.
Cans all over. It's not an ambush. Matter of fact, I feel sorry for them, because they can only afford bush lights.
Yeah.
So we'll help them out.
Because even poor college kids don't even drink that anymore.
Right. Oh, you need to get hydrated, drink bush light.
Gatorade beers.
So, all right, brother. I'll let you to it, man. I just, truthfully, I was looking just to get on this and talk to somebody, and you fell victim, my friend. But
no,
but truthfully,
it's definitely good to catch up.
yeah, absolutely. So
we'll get this going.
Hey, huh?
I said we'll definitely get something going.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Keep watching what we're doing, man, and stay in touch. And